The Grim Reaper comes for you in the night and kills you.
What do you say?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing very well. This is a small snippet from one of our webinars that we hold every single Sunday. A little bit of psychological help. You don't have to necessarily watch it. It's not super visual. There are some things I say. You'll see me in the little bottom left corner because I'll be on the camera. But this is one of the things that I wish I understood when I first started out. And if you can understand this, then the way that you progress from here on out, so the steps that you take from here on out, will actually feel a lot easier. And you can gain much faster confidence in your own trading and get to a point where you're funded, you're doing it full time, or whatever your actual aspirations and goals within the trading space are. So please enjoy it. Watch this on the way to work, watch this in the car, save it for later, whatever it might be. Like, subscribe, do the whole fun thing. And thank you all so much. Enjoy this video. Bye. One of the things that I've personally leaned back on and thought to every single time I've come to a stepping block, or I've spoken to someone who has improved tremendously, or is in the process of improving tremendously, is I think back to a book I read a very long time ago. Now, again, I personally don't read trading books. I don't believe in them as much as a lot of people do. I more so believe in stories, because stories tell the best kind of stories give you the best metaphors for what you do in trading. And Alex actually knows the book, so this is someone that I can tell has been here a long time. But yes, the book was called Into Thin Air. It's very simply a book about summiting Mount Everest. For the most part, you know, very easy read, right? Just you're going up the fucking mountain, right? It's very simple. But what's very interesting about the book, and a specific thing I want to discuss right now, is what it means to actually summit it, to actually go up this mountain. If you are someone that wants to go up this mountain, get rid of all the hard parts of what it means to go up the mountain, right? The fact that you're walking by dead bodies, the fact that you're walking by frozen bodies up on the mountain and you have to just accept and go up it, the fact that you have to understand and accept that the people around you could be dead by the time you get to the top and back to the bottom. Forget about that for a second. Just understand that you are summiting this mountain. You're getting to the top. There's no guarantee you're even going to get to the top. There are very specific moments in time that allow you to allow the conditions environmentally to go and get to the very tops. So you can't even do it at any point, right? So there's a lot of things going on in this book in terms of just getting there. And something that really stuck out to me that I want to mention right now is that in their climb of doing all this insane shit, of seeing people potentially die that are part of your squad, of seeing the dead frozen bodies along the way up, right? On top of all this, it is impossible, keep this in mind, guys, unless you're someone that has already climbed this mountain for a living, your entire life. If you have not climbed this mountain your entire life, which some people have, these are the tour guides that take you up and down it. And again, there's no guarantee of survival. You literally have to sign a waiver and stuff. If you're not one of those people, even if you're in the best possible shape, have all the information you need about summiting the mountain, about if you understand everything in terms of proper technique to stay warm, proper breathing, proper anything, you have to, no matter what, take over 8 to 12 hour or more breaks, up to even 5 days, I think, or so, at certain elevations as you go higher. You literally have to stop and you cannot go higher. Now, if you're someone that's new, not new, but like if you're hiking this mountain and you're even a very good hiker, but you've never hiked Everest specifically, and you're going up it and you keep going up and you don't stop, okay? What's going to happen is because of the changes in air pressure and the fact that you're not used to it, it literally dries up your lungs or something crazy. I don't know the exact thing. It dries up your lungs in a way where the liquid doesn't get managed correctly. And you quite literally just die, not to the cold, not to anything else other than the fact that you have scaled too quickly, you have moved too quickly. And I think it's a beautiful representation of what it's like to trade. And it comes right into what you guys said yourself just now, which is that even if you went back to your old self, you wouldn't be able to give them all the information. And even if you had all the information, you would not be able to utilize it right now. This is exactly the same as summiting Everest. Okay, it's not like summiting Everest. Okay, trading is not like summiting Everest, but there are similar experiences in the fact that as you're summiting, you need to pause. If you do not make those pauses, you die. Unless you're someone that has climb this mountain up and down and up and down for over 40 plus years, and it's in your family, it's in your blood, and you've done it straight. So similarly, if we start out as traders, or we're looking to learn to trade, or we're trying to get better at trading, we have to accept the time-based thing that happens with trading, where we have to pause at certain milestones no matter what. And if we do not make those necessary pauses, we guarantee, not death, but we guarantee failure. Now, in discussing death for a second, and to kind of provide a form of motivation, I want to lead this conversation into comparing to something like going to space or flying. I've done this a few times, but I really want you to remember this, because in reality, what do you think the success rate in actually, let me ask you this. What is the current success rate in trading? Yes, King Nasty. I've been to space a few times. I don't want to brag. Been there, been up and down, walked on the moon. No big deal, okay? But what do you guys know at the moment, given your current upbringing, is the general success rate in trading, for the most part? In terms of you maybe have hit some form of profitability, even if it's a little bit. So I'm actually seeing numbers that are less than the truth. No, so you guys are actually way off. That's interesting. I think the success rate is around 22%. Something like that, okay? So actually a lot more than you think become profitable over time. However, it might not be immense profitability, right? I'm just talking about, you can make, let's say, 1 RR in 50 trades or something, right? Yeah, so there you go. So like Amelia says, 22% do not lose money, right? So 22% do not lose money, which is an important thing. Now, success rate is probably a little bit lower, okay? But there you go. 22% don't lose money. Become successful is around 2%. Okay, makes sense. Thought it would be max 1 to 2%. I honestly think success is probably even higher than 2%. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to look up the information there. But I think it's actually higher than that. But okay, let's just take that success rate for a second. 2%. Now, let's for a second assume trading to be that of someone that goes to space. Or someone that flies a plane, or pilots something that is on a very high level. Pilots a fighter jet. For any of you that know, to become a pilot of a fighter jet for the Navy or the military is a very, very hard and tenuous process, right? So what I want to ask you right now is, if I came to you and I said, not even just in general, let's say that all the information in trading led to the following truth. And the truth is that unless you have a minimum of 5,000 hours trading, forward testing one system, so not back testing, not collecting data, but 5,000 hours of forward testing one system. Imagine the rule is as follows. Unless you have 5,000 hours qualification of of forward testing or live trading one system, if you went live and did not execute under the exact same rules as what you've done under those 5,000 hours, so two things. A, imagine this was the truth. A, you have to have 5,000 hours forward test. B, if you break a single rule once you're truly live after forward testing, the Grim Reaper comes for you in the night and kills you. Okay, so basically, if you fuck up in piloting a spacecraft or a fighter pilot jet, what happens, guys? In the event that you are flying one of these military-based planes, or you're on a mission, what happens if you fuck up your route, if you fuck up your breathing, if you fuck up the way that you lift into the air, if you fuck up the way that you breathe when you lift? You die, 100%. So the process, the tenuous process that people go through to fly these planes is insane. Now, if it was true that trading existed like this, where you had to have 1, 5,000 hours, a forward test, and 2, a single rule broken would not mean losing your account, would not mean losing some money or going to drawdown, but would literally be the act of someone puts you into a cockpit and sends you off into space and lets you die. What do you think the general success rate of people would be in trading given 5,000 hours and given this rule? Do you think it still evolves around 2%? Do you think it is around even 30%? How many fighter pilots die after they've completed all their training? Let me ask you that. That might be even a better question. What percentage of fighter pilots according to available data, the overall fatality rate for a fighter pilot suggests that less than 1% die during their career. So the success rate, when death is an association and there's a tenuous process, goes to 99% success rate. And yet, there's a 2% success rate, not a 99% in trading. Now, is that because, now answer the question. A, people are just dumb. B, there is not a tenuous, I hope I'm spelling it right. I'm probably look like an idiot, but it is what it is, process to start as a trader. Or C, trading is infinitely harder than being a military warfighting jet pilot. Right? Clearly, unless we're all out of our fucking minds, in some ways this might be the case, but clearly trading is not harder in terms of all the things that are required of you than being a military war-fighting jet pilot. And clearly, we all know that the success rate of a trader would go up infinitely if we had a qualification of time, which happens to us if we want to become surgeons, work in the financial field, if we want to work in any field, actually. I think any of you that are right here, right now, or listening to this in the future, if I asked you what you're currently studying to do in school, what you might want to do, whatever it might be, I can guarantee you the qualifications to do what you do has a minimum of at least 10 years of some kind of either education or experience. Does everyone, for the most part, agree with that? If I asked you guys to become lawyers, it would take you a minimum of 6 years of education, and then to work for a good law firm would probably be around 6 years of experience working as like a paralegal or something low end. When I was growing up, this might sound crazy, just thinking back, I wanted to be a forensic scientist. Okay, like at some point I said, hey, maybe I'll be a forensic scientist. And you know what I found out? This was gonna take me about 12 years to put me at around, I think it was 60 to 80K starter. Okay? Now it's not wrong, nothing's bad with this, but I really, really need this to make sense because a lot of us have this unbelievably dumb belief or understanding concerning trading and the process of trading that it's not as tenuous as of a process, right? So clearly all we have to do is just simply execute some rules and we can make money. It's like, do we understand what it takes to do most things in the world, right? If you want to work as a simple trading like analyst even for a basic company, I saw a posting recently because I was just looking up just to see, like, you know, where can I use my finance degree? You know what they require? They require a finance degree, minimum 3 to 5 years with banking products, minimum 6 years with bank interest products. So what does this mean? This means I need a degree. That's about 4 years. I have that degree, yay. About this, which puts me at around 10 years, and maybe this if I didn't do it at the same time. So about 15 years of experience needed, and does anyone want to guess how much this offered? Again, this is literally a job near me. I looked at this, I saw this job, because I still had an email subscription from like 5 years ago, and I got it randomly. Where this puts you at. Yep, this was around 95K or something. I think it was like 90K. Now, again, I ask you the question, if I spend, personally, if I spend 15 years finding a system, even if I spend 6 of those 15 years finding myself a system that can at least make 1 R after 50 trades at a time, can I get to 90K in annualized earnings by my 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th year of trading? Easily. Disgustingly easily. Starting with literally any amount of money. Probably at one point in those 9 years, beyond 6, even with a system that makes me 1 R every 50 trades, I can very likely get to this value. Right? So it's not that trading is easier or harder than anything else in the world. It's just, as I love to say, something that contains guaranteed and necessary milestones. And while it contains those milestones, it also doesn't contain the qualifications that we tend to see from people that will quite literally sit there and hire you. If trading was nothing more than an extremely lucrative job with no ability to trade for yourself. Let's say there was no retail trading, guys, for a second. You have no ability to simply click on create account, fund the account with whatever I want, press buy or sell on anything I want. This is what it currently looks like to become a trader. Not a profitable one. This is currently what it means to become a trader. Can you guys imagine if the process of becoming a doctor was as simple as go online, make account for your hospital near you, start work tomorrow as surgeon. Can you fucking imagine? Would you guys ever touch the hospital near you? Right? And now the fuck thing is that most traders that lose money in the markets are here. There's a new firm out. The firm is offering me 200 leverage for 5%. Fuck yeah, let me go make money. Right? It makes no sense whatsoever. But this is quite literally what trading looks like at the moment. You can create account, you can fund account with whatever you want, as much money as you want, and then you can press buy or sell on anything you want. And it gets even crazier because some people will go and say, well, I'm okay because, I got signals. Can you imagine? You walk into your doctor office. He says, I registered yesterday to be a surgeon. You're like, dude, I don't fucking trust you. And he says, don't worry. A guy that's been a surgeon for 20 years is going to tell me what to do. Will you now trust this guy to operate on you? Will you say, yes, you know what, sir? Go ahead. Right, so if you can hear the stupidity in this story, then you should understand the stupidity associated with this. Or with the idea of, do this for me, or let me find validation elsewhere, or let me put my full trust in you because clearly you know what's going on. It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Because experience is it. So again, I beg the question, and I ask you the question of, imagine this was impossible. Imagine the only way you could ever trade, right, is finance degree as a minimum, 5 years working, or let's even make it 1 year working as an administrator, minimum, 3 years of working under the wing of someone in your position or in trading position, minimum. What do you guys think the success rate of a trader from a current 2% might go up to or might move to if this was a qualification? Well, all of a sudden you instantly will do away with most people in the world that have ever touched trading, right? Because a lot of people in trading will literally throw their last $100 at trading, like if they're in a more third world country or in a place where they think that this is something where they can win big and get a quick little raffle, right? If we instantly move the minimum requirements to this, what do you guys think happens to the overall success rate of 2%? It probably jumps to 60, maybe to 70, maybe to 80. Who knows? Maybe not 99%, because there might not be death associated with it, right? But I can guarantee you all that if I took any one of you and it was simply the case that you would die if your system that you traded live was unprofitable or unprofitable, that every single one of you would only do the stuff required to have a profitable system. Which is why, again, I hate this idea of, let me put some real money behind the line, because I really just need to feel the market, right? I just need to feel and experience this. Versus, which is normal, right? Go and simulate yourself flying for 600 hours, then you're gonna fly alongside someone, aka forward testing, for a minimum of 600 hours, and then you're going to fly your own aircraft. Then you're going to trade your own system. Then you're going to put your own money where your mouth is and start to scale that capital with no issue. Right? So I wanted to start this webinar by truly talking about process, because everything I've done personally in my own life, all the time I've spent trading, has led me to where I am now. What I want to add on is that everything I'm doing now, just so you guys all understand, has never felt easier or more systematized or more processized than what I'm doing right now. Right? Everything I do now feels so unbelievably simple. Everything feels so clear. It's almost unfair to myself even. Like when I look at my own system, it feels almost unfair that I'm able to just sit and look at all these things every single day now and take a trade or not take a trade, right? And the trades that I take or don't take lead to exceptional potential gains over time, despite potential losses and break-evens through the murky waters, right? And all this is only possible because, well, I've gone through each set milestone, right? I've gone and I've waited on the mountain for a week at a time to allow my body to acclimate, to allow myself to acclimate to the process that is at hand. I can't go back right now to the Anton of 1 month, like when he was 10 years old, 11 years old, and say, listen, man, the binary options you're doing right now is stupid. The Forex that you're just trading right now doesn't make much sense. What you want to do is you want to do exactly this. What's going to happen is I'm not going to be able to be profitable at that moment, but it might actually expedite the process in a very quick way, in a very big way, right? Which is why, again, one of the main things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to walk you through exactly what I do now. Because, well, hopefully it helps the next person. And that is also why when you guys show up to these webinars, one, we get some psychology, but two, you're going to see firsthand how the actions and things taught right here, how they're specifically put into action, right? Because it's one thing to see a few examples, some perfect examples, right? Because a lot of these, if you guys remember, even when we start introducing things, if we go to any one of these, when we go to any one of these, like everything taught and used is either a theoretical example or literally a perfect example. Oh, look, perfect validation and quick move away, right? These are perfect examples. They are cherry-picked. Each idea and moment that's picked in the portal is completely cherry-picked based on something that I've either looked at, taken, or makes sense in terms of the process. Right? So by the time you go live, of course, not everything is going to be as sunshiny and rainbows as what we saw before. But what is going to happen is that because you know what you're looking for, and because you now get to see exactly how those things that were taught are being executed now, you're going to have an instant, boom, light bulb of, oh, this is what I'm doing. Right? So by the time you see me talk about something like this at some point, which is a market I started watching, just so you guys know, right here. This is a market I became interested in trading. I saw an overall very bullish market. I saw an overall market that started to break down for a distribution that was part of a higher timeframes momentum MB as taught in the portal. So now if you are new and hearing me speak and this is very confusing, that's good because you're going to learn everything I'm talking about right now in the portal material. But distribution MB, building a momentum MB on a higher time frame, price breaks down. As it breaks down, it then starts to go through accumulation. That accumulation starts to play out and starts to move into a momentum MB on the daily. I personally was starting to stock for longs and looking for entries and opportunities to get long right here. This is an example of a perfect based market maybe. And then this happened, right? And now you get to see a cherry pick in terms of potential become something that doesn't become a deliverer, which is important because in trading, the cherry picks are the ones that we learn from. And then the reality is what allows us to start to create patience in our trading. So by the time the cherry picked ones begin to play out, here's another cherry pick example where I don't know what's going to happen and it leads to opportunity. And that simple opportunity that it led to, simply this move right here, resulted in currently just between those two trades, a gain of already 12.7R guaranteed, right? Which will eat and swallow all the rest of the other actions taken. All the other losses and break-evens, again, do not matter because the act of cherry picking led to poor examples that ended up being either losses, break-evens, or non-trade examples, or the cherry-picked examples led to what? Pure delivery, which is exactly what I try to do. And that pure delivery, once again, leads to all-time highs because it's the same thing on repeat, right? And again, my own process, my own trading has never felt more simple, right? But again, I understand that simplicity is rooted in the fact that I've waited at every part of the mountain, right? I've let my breathing and my lungs get acclimated to the new elevation. I've then continued to move higher safely with the knowledge that everything I've done before has led to this moment and that I'm going to continue to summit and make it to the very, very top. And there's no reason that anyone that's here right now, at any point, whether you're here live, which a lot of you are, or whether you're here watching this, in a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, or as a short on a YouTube video, there's no reason that you can't experience and go through the exact same thing. There's no reason that you cannot listen and go through each acclimation point. There's no reason that you can't now pause with me on the mountain and truly wait your 5 days. Because if you truly are serious about this, then you will also similarly think about trading as a do or die scenario, where if you keep going up the mountain without allowing yourself to acclimate and you force yourself to do it, then death is the next association. Now, it's not the case in trading that you're going to die. It's not the case at all, right? You're likely, at the worst, going to lose all your money, and maybe at even worst, go into true debt, right? Which I've seen people do. So again, the fear of real death, like someone's gonna kill you, is not necessarily gonna happen unless you're going into debt because of mafia, right? If you're borrowing money from the mafia to go and trade, you guys are in that's a little bit of an issue, don't do that. But that's ultimately how it looks, right? You need to take your pauses. If you don't take your pauses, if you don't allow yourself to learn, if you don't allow yourself to enjoy the process of having to learn, then there is zero chance you succeed in this industry, okay? All right, we got that out of the way. Let me see what's going on in the chats, because I feel like I've just been talking at you and I want to talk with you. So let's do it. Good to see a lot of returning faces and names, so let's see where we are here. Zoom user, how can I get your premium structure? You can just text the mentfx bot, but there's a video in the portal on it. Luke said, did he say it's not a lot? Understatement of the year regarding the value. Oh, in terms of the screener. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, if this is a skill set that becomes something that is worth infinitely more to you, right? Because the way I think about it is I've had countless members that have come to me and shown me themselves 100K plus profit in overall trading or more, right? The way that I think about it when I see that is I instantly think, how much is 100K in terms of the knowledge they're getting here is the first thing I start with, right? And the tools that they gain access to. What is 100K equivalent to? Can anyone give me a normal value? Just think about the mentorship for a moment. Like if you're using everything and you make 100K as an overall trader after like 6 years, let's say you did that. What is the overall value of that 100K in terms of being here? It's 100 years. Right? It's literally 100 years of being in the mentorship. So, you know, that's one of the main reasons I formed this the way I have, because you get to choose how you want to use your own time. Because at some point you realize, and at some point you will, quote unquote, you will get to the understanding stage where it blows everything out of the water. Where, like, you know, you're looking at you're literally looking at this place as an insane RR multiple to what you're doing, which has always been the idea and goal of what I wanted to do. But as our good man here said, no way you say it's not a lot, right? The way I think about this is someone could theoretically, not theoretically, but it's actually likely, go through all of this in about a month. Now, does that mean they learn everything they need to learn and they have the exact stuff? Kind of yes and no. You know, it's good. But you could go through it in a month, which I think is one of the best values that I can ever provide to someone, because, hey, if that's all they need and they want to get out, at least they have everything they need and they now have an understanding that's going to be unparalleled anywhere else. All right, so that's kind of always been my goal. But the reason I say it's not a lot is because, you know, even if this is, I think, 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, I don't even know how long it is, but maybe like half a day. It could literally be half a day. What this could mean for someone in terms of catapult is fucking absurd, right? Is that's the way I try to think about it. So yeah, that's why I say it's not a lot, because really, like, you work through this once and you'll have a better understanding than anywhere else, is how I think about it. Jordan says, when I watched the portal, I was a little bit lost, but once you get over the portal, you just watch the webinars after and you just take off after that. Exactly. Because the webbies are the true execution of the portal material in real life. You get to see exactly how the thought process of the portal is implemented, and then you also get to see how patience is implemented through it too, right? Because you get to see how things are taken or not taken. Like, look at my list here, guys. I have a lot of stuff on this list, right? Of all this stuff on the list, let's count the amount of things I've actually traded over the last week. 1 trade on 1 pair, 2 trades, 3 trades, 3 trades still, 3 trades still, 4 trades, nothing, 5 trades, nothing. So 5 trades, and then there's nothing else on anything else, because these are all in other watch lists, right? So I took about 5 trades in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, blah, 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 blah. All right, they're like 27 markets, 28 markets. So I'm looking at 28 markets. I took less than 5 trades. Only 2 of them were probably winners, or yeah, 2 of them are small winners. The rest were break-evens or losses, right? Which truly should almost illuminate how much patience and waiting I actually have to do, even though I might have a trade every single day, or be watching something every single day, or have an eye on something every single day. It doesn't necessarily matter. Because what you should be seeing is that despite having over 26 markets, 30 markets here, I've traded, and of the ones that I wanted to trade because they look good, I've traded like five trades in the last week or 2 weeks, right? So about 1 a day or so is what it works out to, despite having all this stuff on here, right? Which means that one of the biggest things I'm doing is, despite having all this analysis, despite having all the labels and everything is like moving perfectly and everything's in momentum MB, or everything's moving in a way that I want it to move, despite all that happening, those very rarely lead to entries that become executable for me, right? Which is an important part, because that means that despite doing every action that I've shown you in the portal, despite thinking about every single data point and process point and analysis point, despite all of that, I still don't end up taking infinite amounts of trades, right? Which should lend to the fact that the direct analysis does not mean execution, which is also a very, very beneficial thing, because we start to realize that incorrect analysis, here's an example, right? Like, I want to show you guys this because I really want this to stay in your head. I saw this, thought it was a very strong market. Look what I wanted. wanted it to do? Pause on the rising averages, become a move. What happened? It died off. It didn't lead to a single thing. That's analysis that's based on Portal that does not lead to entry or anything, and I simply stay on the side. Oklo, not this one really. Let me go to one that's like really good. Here's another one. Perfect, useless market. I have to wait for this to go into accumulation now, right? Was perfect. Take a look at this. I was literally trying to enter here. I remember this webinar because I drew this out. I said, hey, you know, if this can start building like a double MB here and give me an opportunity, I'm going to be in this trade. It took one day for the entire thing to become obsolete, useless, and no longer worth trading at that point, right? This was true failure. And now I'm just waiting, and now we're kind of moving back into some accumulation. So, if this can start building something out here, there might actually be a trade that's worth taking, something like that, right? There's definitely an opportunity that could come and form here. But it's really interesting because if you truly look through the ideas I've had or the markets I've marked up, right? This is a full idea regarding what I would trade, and then it leads to nothing. And at the same time, if anyone is keeping up to date with the news, what happened during this time and this time specifically right here? This was over the last week. You guys have probably seen all the video recommendations to you on YouTube. What happened during this week? What's really happening in the market right now? Yes, perfect. Chinese AI! The market is dying! Oh my god, DeepSeek is taking away the market share. Everything's going down. You guys, I had no idea about anything that was going on, just so you guys know. No idea. This came down. I wasn't even thinking about it. All I was looking at was, oh, this market is not good. And you guys know what only market I saw that was still good during this exact time? Can anyone guess based on this stuff here? And you guys saw me trade it this week. Just look at my list right here. Does anyone know what it was? Yeah, it was Reddit. At the same time that all this was happening, look what Reddit did. This is where Reddit was. This was the gap down. So I said, hey, this thing's very strong. That's weird. I'll probably trade it. And then I traded it. And now I'm up over 12 RR on this with a running trade at break even where I'm waiting for this to deliver now. That's it. I had no idea there was AI in China. I didn't know that all these companies were going down because of that reason. All I knew was that the markets I wanted to trade started to gap down. The markets I was trying to trade and was ready for a trade on gap down. The markets I was potentially going to trade gap down. The markets I was potentially going to enter, literally, if you guys remember, this was during the webinar. This was during Sunday. I said, hey, this looks pretty good. I was ready to trade this on Monday. It gapped down. So all I could do was say, okay, clearly there's something that's not here. I'll just keep looking. And some stuff is really clean. So I traded it. Break even. So I traded it. -1. So I traded it. Break even. So I traded it. Break even. So I traded it. Plus 12 and running. So now if this continues to show strength, one, there might be another opportunity in here, which would be cool, or it just goes. And this becomes, I don't know, an extra 4RR for a gainer. Or it goes crazy and tomorrow it gaps up like this, and then it pauses, then makes a higher high, and then I move my stop here. And I've just made an extra 8RR. Like that. I've made an 8RR return on 1RR of risk. That's more RR than the market returns to you every year at 1% risk. Right? That's how you make your money work for you. Emilia says, and the stock analyst guys will tell you that Reddit went up because Reddit data is the best when it comes to training AI models. They will find an explanation. Yep. Or you could just analyze the charts. Exactly. Right? At the end of the day, I have no idea why this thing was better than everything else. All I know is that the setup on this didn't fail. The setup looked good, so I executed the setup. And you guys know where I found this market? There it is. RDDT. There it is. I said, huh, this is green across the board. Looks good. Okay. Happy to trade it. And the trade results in pure delivery, in beautiful delivery, in money made. And we'll talk about this trade today as well. From a zero to hero, from a zero to actual execution. Because again, one of the main goals of every single webinar on one hand is to talk with you guys, to offer you insight, to offer you realistic insight, but also to show you exactly how, without taking into account other useless shit, like what people are doing online, what the fundamentals of something look like, what people are hot about each market, whatever happening in China, whatever AI is doing, whatever, it doesn't matter. The market either has a setup or it doesn't. If it does, I trade it. If it doesn't, I stay the fuck away and I wait. Oh yeah. I love it, Shellings. I love it. I know, I remember you getting into this with me too. But yep, that's it. You, like, literally, that's all the work you've ever had to do. Right? Nothing more. And now it's a goal of waiting. And this either can go and make us even more money, or just fails and we go back to the drawing board. Amelia says, but with all seriousness, the portal material is also as almost as long as a typical subject is in university. Yep. And do you guys know how much university costs? Do you guys want to know what I paid for university? Well, I didn't pay, guys. I actually forced my dad to pay. I told him I'm not going to uni unless you pay. But does anyone know what university costs in general? How much did I pay to get my little finance degree? I wonder. I strong-armed my dad. Yes. In the US, it was 100K. No, it was about 300K. Because the US is disgusting, okay? But it was around 300K. So, do you guys think I've made more money from working finance, not in terms of my own trading, than what I've paid? Nowhere near. Right? Bro went to Yale. I did not go to Yale. And I know some people might even think that I'm bullshitting them. Hold on. Okay, the tuition actually went down, but here's where I went to school. This is yearly tuition. Here we go, before aid. So it's around 80,000 per year with no aid, which is, we didn't have aid because, well, I grew up very lucky. I had an amazing father. I'm very thankful for everything I had. So, you know, when I show this, I'm not like, oh shit, look at that. But I never, you know, like, this is what I paid for a university course, is ultimately what it came down to. And most of the courses were useless. There were only a few that were pertaining to what I actually needed to do and what I needed in terms of education, right? So this worked out to about like 320K, right, I believe. And I had some scholarships and stuff, so it went down a little bit. But this is what it generally was. This is where I went to school. This is where I got my degree, okay? I didn't have commuting expense, but I had living expenses in the city. Trust me. Why aren't you in the notable alumni? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's reserved for like, for like the people that gain like the fucking trophies. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what are they called? No, I got like a grade scholarship, Marcus. But I don't think that's like a notable thing. That's not that big of a thing. You're kind of famous, right? I mean, in the notable alumni, you have like Olympic people, which I'm nowhere near, right? Any applicable finance education you currently use? No. I'm thankful for everything I was able to learn and do because I met my wife there and everything. But No, I don't use any of it. Everything that I use, I mean, it's hard to say I don't use any of it because you always learn skill sets no matter what you're doing, right? So just remember that. But no, I don't actually use any of that actual education. A lot of the education that I have was just from growing and personal. But I bring that up because some people pay an unbelievable amount for a college course or for a course or for a university or whatever it might be. And they don't even get good information, is the way that I want you to think about it, right? And yet they go on to, over years, do very well for themselves, right? So if you change your perception about the way that you're taking things in and learning, and you don't aim for and just focus on only making money as a success trait, as a thing that makes you successful, then you're going to excel a lot faster because you have immense education for what I consider immensely cheap, even though for a lot of people it's not. And you can use that in such a beneficial way for you. You can leverage that information in such a big way for yourself that you can outdo most people around you by a landslide, right? But it's going to take a fuck ton of time. BG says it legitimately has to click one day. You got to have that moment where you look at your screen in shock. Yep. It happens to a lot of people. A lot of people that I've mentored, that I've worked with, that I've called with. In some cases, it's one call, it's one discussion, it's one moment, it's a week later, it's 2 weeks later, it's one perspective shift, which is why I try to give you guys many perspectives when we have these calls, because it takes one thing that you hear to change the trajectory of how you think, of how you processize your systems, and how you put trust in yourself, or how much responsibility you take on. Right? Like, it will be the case. I can guarantee this. I don't know for who, but it is the case that after this webinar, at some point, that someone that sees me break down this trade, is going to go find a market at some point, whether through screen or just by looking at markets, look at a trade, find a trade, take a trade, and go, holy shit, I just realized what I need to do, right? I know that's going to happen to someone. I know it's happened to a lot of you through any one webinar, through any one video, through any one portal video. It's just a question of when. And then you have a lot of those stacked together. And when a lot of those stack together, well, you have a skill set. That's how it works, right? When you learn to play piano, you learn small steps, and then one day you hit a key just right? You play the thing, you play the song you've been trying to play just right, where it sounds right to your ears, and you go, whoa, I can do that. You stack enough of those up and you become a prodigy, right? You stack even more of those up, you become a potential part of a band. You stack even more of those up, you become the #1 pianist, right? That's how skill sets work. NinjaBot says, I thought I learned enough from your YouTube videos. Join the mentorship, do the course in a month or two, then be making money straight away. That was almost a year ago. And I still haven't made money, but I know so much more. Good. Here for the long haul. Really happy to hear it, NinjaBot. Amelia says, what I love the most, opening my notebooks from 1 year, 2 years, 3 to 4 years ago and seeing my trading notes and thought process. Sometimes we take progress for granted, or that we haven't made much of it. But when you see your own notes from a few years ago, you see that the difference is night and day. Yep. And a lot of you should feel the same way. If you go back through either the education you had before, B, the times that you were just here before, and C, compare those notes from now and then, or your own understanding now to now and then, you'll be like, holy shit. I can't imagine how much shit people have to go through to get better, right? I can't imagine like someone being willing to go through the information and the process and the improvement that I've gone through, right? And that's the case for a lot of people here that have been here a while, because they've realized, holy shit, one, it's not as easy as we thought, but two, there's an insane amount of work that went into where I am right now. Ment University is where I attend. King says, to be a doctor, it's years of schooling, and then you have to work in the hospital for free for another 4 years. True. Let's not forget about that. And the shifts are like insane, aren't they? They're like overnight, like into 6 a.m. shifts sometimes. Yep. Black says, the problem is that scientists love what they do and many traders don't. They want to get rich. I agree. I very much agree with that. And it's weird and it's hard because being a good trader quite literally means you're gonna get rich, right? So it's a very hard thing to balance because on one hand, you start trading because you're like, oh, it can make me so much money, but you don't continue trading or make money trading until you've loved trading, right? I've always loved the idea of what trading can offer, but I also love the passion itself behind trading, behind actually analyzing, behind the fact that I'm working for myself, that I don't depend on a single other person to make the decisions that I make, on the fact that I can have a system for myself, a process for myself from anywhere in the world, right? These are all things that fit into who I am as a person characteristically, right? My personality fit every moment of what I did. And as a result, the learning process was the enjoyable thing. It wasn't the fact that I made or didn't make money, right? I didn't make money for about 8 years, 9 years of learning. For about 8, 9 years, it was just all, what the fuck am I doing? But this is so much fun, right? Michael says, my daughter is majoring in forensic science. I guess she'll never move out. Michael, maybe times have changed, bro. Maybe times have changed. But yeah, that's just, I mean, that's how it is. That's literally how it goes. And I think the highest end forensic science is at like 200K. Yeah, look at this. The highest paid forensic science professionals can earn over 100K. The highest paying industry is for the federal government at around 107K, it looks like. But, and look, to become a forensic examiner, you need to become a licensed physician. I can guarantee you these 2 words take more time than anything any one of you have ever done in trading. That's what I want to really shine a light on. I think these 2 words right here probably take more qualification than what most people have ever done in trading. Doctorate degree, postgraduate 2 years. I'm pretty sure this alone is 6 years, right? 6 years minimum, I'm pretty sure. Right? More, it's 8. Okay. 8 years minimum. Oh yeah, doctorate, that's beyond. Oh yeah.